Please join us if you can, up front.
Going where the weather suits my soul. Going where the weather suits my soul. Going where the weather suits my soul. Don't wanna be treated disorderly. Going down the road, feeling
Welcome, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Front row seats still available. Too close. Too close. Welcome, everybody, to our May Congregational meeting. We're letting the stragglers join us. Well, good morning, everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Brent Mello. I'm your temple president for this current year. Thank you for joining us for our annual congregational meeting. It's always good to have backup plans. So we have a wonderful screen that drops down, and I think we had a power outage a couple weeks ago, and something's stopping it from working. So we had the backup plan of the old screen. So thanks to Kobe for making sure we always have a great solution. We have tons of information for you today, and you'll hear a lot of thank yous and a lot of gratitudes, but I hereby call this meeting to order. We will have a quick blessing in a minute. Rabbi will lead us in a Devar Torah and a report. We will confirm that we have a quorum. We've got 2 sets of minutes to approve today. We have candidates to present to you for our 2025-26 Board of Directors and officers. I will give you a report of some of the administrative things that have been happening at the temple. Kobe has lots of good information to share with you. Carolyn Geiser's out of country right now, but we'll give you the financial report. Rabbi will give us an education report. Robert Grossman, who is filling in for Susan Schnee as our nominated committee chair, will give us the results of our elections. And as you saw, we have a new firearms policy that we're going to review with you and talk about the plan and the rollout for that this morning. And we'll have a good and welfare opportunity for final questions or comments at the end. And we will attempt to take questions as we go. We have no bylaws changes for you today, so this should not take 4 hours. So we're scheduled to try to get done by noon, and we have a picnic from the Boker Tov Sunday Club, falafel picnic afterwards. So that's our agenda for today. So to begin with, if you'd like to join me in the blessing for the congregation, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'tzochei tzibur. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us through mitzvot and has commanded us to engage in the needs of the community. So I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Jay, and here's your back and forth clicker.
Excellent, fantastic, thank you. Boker Tov, good morning, everyone. Little Devar Torah, little learning. It's always said that whenever Jews gather together, we should do a little learning together. And this morning, most of my Devar Torah is a little story from the Talmud that I'd like to share with you. It's Lag BaOmer was Friday. And so just 2 days ago, this holiday that, how many of you, it's your favorite holiday? I got 2 votes for favorite holiday, Lag BaOmer. How many of you, your favorite holiday is not Lag BaOmer? Okay, I just wanted to make sure you're awake and everybody else raised their hands. Perfect, that's great. Lag BaOmer was 2 days ago. It's a day that we celebrate a variety of things, but one is about scholarship and rabbinic scholars. And there's a story of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who it said he's the one who wrote the Zohar, one of the great mystical books of Jewish mysticism, of Kabbalah. And there's a Lag BaOmer story about him. If you think the story I'm about to share with you is a very weird story, you are correct. It is a very weird story, and here's the story. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai lived during the 2nd century in the land of Israel under Roman rule. This was a very difficult time for Jews since the Romans did not allow them to practice their religion or study Torah. Bar Yochai spoke critically of the Roman government, which was reported to the authorities. The Roman emperor sentenced him and his son, Rabbi Elazar, to death for speaking out against the government, and the rest of the story is here. It's from Shabbat. If you'd like to go home and read it, the rest of it later, Shabbat 33b is the great place to start right there. They went and they hid in a cave. A miracle occurred, and a carob tree was created for them, as well as a spring of water inside the cave. By the way, if you come to Israel with me next year, maybe we'll go see the cave. I'll take you there, you can see it. They would remove their clothing and sit covered in sand up to their necks. I told you the story was weird, right? It starts out very weird. They would remove their clothing and sit covered in sand up to their necks. They would study Torah all day in that manner. At the time of prayer, they would dress, cover themselves, and pray. And they would again remove their clothes afterwards so that they would not become tattered. They sat in the cave for 12 years doing exactly this. The prophet Elijah came and stood at the entrance of the cave and said, "Who will inform Bar Yochai that the emperor, the one who had sentenced him to death, had died, and his decree has been abrogated?" They emerged from the cave, and they saw that people were plowing and sowing. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, "These people abandoned eternal life of Torah study and engage in temporal life for their own sustenance." Every place that Rabbi Shimon and his son directed their eyes was immediately burned. Did I mention it was a weird story? A divine voice emerged and said to them, "Did you emerge from the cave in order to destroy my world? Return to your cave." They again went and sat there for 12 months. A divine voice emerged and said to them, "Emerge from the cave." They emerged. Everywhere that Rabbi Elazar would strike, Rabbi Shimon, his father, would heal. Rabbi Shimon, the father, said to Rabbi Elazar, the son, "My son, you and I suffice for the entire world, as the two of us are engaged in the proper study of Torah." And that's where we go to the commercial break in the story in the Talmud. And then it comes back to a totally different scene. A very strange story. But the story is to say this. The lesson from Rabbi Shimon to Rabbi Elazar is this. Every person does what they can to make the world a better place. Rabbi Elazar, as he's struck by looking out and things burned, criticized the contributions of everybody else. Rabbi Shimon, after one more year in the cave, who had formerly criticized the contributions of everyone else, says, "No, my son, the contribution that we make is good, and the contribution that they make is good." And the lesson for us in a community here in Temple Shalom and in the Jewish world and in our entire world is this. We as humans tend to spend a lot of time criticizing the contributions of others. But what we should really concentrate on is, what can I do to make the world a better place? And whatever other people do to make the world a better place, I can say thank you to them. They don't have to do it the way that I would do it. They don't have to make the contribution that I make, because I will make the contribution that I make. And we should appreciate the contributions of everyone else. At the end of the story, this is the lesson that Rabbi Elazar learns from his father. It's a little something about being together in community and working together to make the world a better place. I'd like to spend some time with some life cycle things that have happened in our community since our last congregational meeting last year in May. We have some new members of our temple. You can see their names right there. One of them's only been a member of our temple for 2 months. It's the last name on the list there. But these are some wonderful kids who are children of our members, and we know that many of our families have grandchildren and nephews and nieces and very close relatives who were born this year. But we got to celebrate with these folks this year to bring them into our community. We also had 5 B'nai Mitzvah since we can give them a round of applause. They're great. Five wonderful kids who came and read Torah and Haftarah and shared Devar Torah with us and shared beautiful wisdom. I will tell you this, because I know not all of you in this room were there. I'm not calling anybody out, but just not all of you were there. If you were there on these 5 Saturdays, you are a wiser person because of it, because these 5 kids taught beautiful, amazing lessons on the day of their bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah. And so that's my way of saying check the calendar. In the next year, when you see there's a bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, don't avoid that Saturday morning. Come on that Saturday morning, because these kids teach us the most beautiful, amazing lessons, and you should want to be a part of that. We had 2 weddings in our community this year. I'm not gonna make Eric stand up because he's in the room, but his wife Lynn is downstairs teaching our kids, so that's great. But 2 weddings in our community this year, so we're excited that they were with us. And additionally, we also this year lost a few of our members. Lee Blatt, Norma Fogel, Rosalie Roslin, Saul Goldman, and Stanford Weiss. As well as within our own families and our own communities, we've lost people as well. And so to honor their memories, I'll ask all of you to please rise. And in their memory, we'll say these words of El Malei Rachamim, God full of compassion. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamitzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, B'malot Kedoshim Utorim, K'zohar Rakia Mazhirim, Et Nishmot Kol Yakirinu Ha'ahuvim, שהלכו לעולמם. בגן עדן תהין מנוחתם, לכן מלא לרחמים, יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרו ביצור החיים את נשמותיהם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוח בשלום המשכבותיהם, V'nomar, Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant perfect peace among the holy and the pure, under the wings of your sheltering presence, to our beloved dear ones who have gone to their eternal home. Therefore, Master of compassion, wrap them in your sheltering presence forever. May their souls be bound up in the bond of eternal life. God is their inheritance. May they rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. We can be seated. I hope I remember the order of this, right? Some people ask me, what do rabbis do when it's not Friday night and Saturday morning, when we're not here leading services? And the answer is Netflix. That's what we do. We watch a lot of Netflix. I can tell you, ask me later, I'll give you all the best recommendations. When I'm done with Netflix, then I move on to Amazon Prime and then on to Hulu. But among some of the things that I do in the community when I'm not here in the building, I'm continuing as the treasurer of the Rocky Mountain Rabbis and Cantors. That's the Board of Rabbis and Cantors of the state of Colorado. I just completed my 3rd year as the treasurer. I'm elected for 1 more year. I have been told that because the last treasurer of the Board of Rabbis served for 8 years, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I'm currently the vice president of Bakita Mountain Home. This is my pitch to all of you right now. Bakita Mountain Home is a home for women who've been rescued from human trafficking. We have 5 beds here at an undisclosed location here in Colorado Springs. We have a 2-year-long program that they can stay in the home to rebuild their lives. It's a wonderful, amazing organization. I've been on the board for 7 years. I've been the vice president for the last 2 years. If you're interested in donating some money there, you should donate some money to Temple Shalom first. And then after that, You can donate some money to Bikita Mountain Home, and I'm happy to tell all of you about the wonderful program that's there. Additionally, other things that I've done in the community this year, we had earlier this year our Conejo Street Cemetery Founder's Stone dedication. I've been part of the PJ Library Community IPEG grant. That is a grant that has brought money into Colorado Springs to help with bringing PJ Library not only books, but programming into the community. The grant is ending this year, but we're working with PJ Library in Denver to continue with the programming that we've started through that grant for our younger kids. I represented all of Southern Colorado. I don't know how that happened, but I represented all of Southern Colorado at the 150th Gala of Temple Emmanuel in Denver, the oldest still active synagogue in the state of Colorado. We had our October 7th anniversary observance. Next Gen, how many of you know what Next Gen is? How many of you don't know what Next Gen is? A few people. Next Gen is our organization here at Temple Shalom. It's not officially a part of Temple Shalom. It's a community organization that takes care of our 20-somethings and our 30-somethings and our early 40-somethings. And Daniel Petrone is our chair of that organization right now. And the goal is that we're bringing in younger families into the Jewish community. And as we've had this organization in existence for a few years, slowly but surely, several of those families have joined Temple Shalom. So it's a project that's bringing in membership to our synagogue, slowly but surely. And over the course of the year, I meet with them and do some things. If you are in the 20 to early 40s range, you can talk to Daniel Petrone about the next event. And about 2 or 3 times a year, they bring me, because I don't like beer, I really don't, they bring me to a brewery, and we call it Torah on Tap, and over a beer, which I don't drink because I don't like beer, I'd rather have a glass of Merlot, frankly, but we do some Torah study at a brewery here in Colorado Springs. And if you think that sounds a little strange, here's the amazing thing. Last time we had 27 people there to study Torah and Talmud. It's an amazing group and an amazing program. Additional things, I was at the ARJE, that's a national education organization in Evanston, Illinois, back in January. I've done invocations this year at the El Paso County Commissioners and the Colorado Springs City Council. We brought our Nefesh Mountain Community Schmooze. So I hope you were all here for that. We had the concert on Thursday and then the service on Friday. Just a few weeks ago, the Yom HaShoah program at Colorado College. And for those of you who went, the Israel Walk-In Festival, raise your hand if you're in the room and you were there. If you are not raising your hand right now, let me tell you this, you missed out on something amazing, and you should come with us next year. We had a bus. We had 44 members of Temple Shalom at the Israel Walk-In Festival in Denver. Next year, our goal is to Kobe, are you okay if I double that? 88? Our goal next year is 88. I just decided right now we're going to double that number and see if we can get 2 busloads of people to go. It was an amazing, incredible thing, and to celebrate Israel. And if you'd like to really celebrate Israel, May 27th through June 7th, 2026. These are the official dates right now. The itinerary is being planned. We're going to have another Temple Shalom trip to Israel. At the bottom, you can see a bunch of great things that are going to happen during that trip, and much more than what's on the bottom there. The itinerary will come out at the end of the summer. We are working with Jewish National Fund to make the trip happen. And here's a great thing. Because I am a member of Jewish National Fund's Rabbis for Israel program, every person who goes on this trip gets $500 off the trip paid for by Jewish National Fund, because we're working with them on the trip. So it lowers your price by $500, and we're going to see some of the great projects they're doing. And I believe with that, we're going to be moving on to, we're going to determine our quorum, unless anybody has any questions for me, first of all. Anyone? We're going to ask Brent if there's a quorum. Is there a quorum, Brent?
There is a quorum. So in case you wanted to know, per our bylaws, we have to have 10% of the voting members here. We have 395 voting members, which means a quorum, that 10% is 40 members. And I think, Robert, we had 61, 61. So thank you. We crushed that today. So thank you very much. The first order of business that we have today is approval of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes for you. We have the May 19th the annual meeting a year ago. Normally we would have approved those at our semi-annual meeting in November, but we did not get the minutes to you early, soon enough. I think we're supposed to get them to you days in advance, and we didn't do that, so we didn't vote on them. So back in May, the three big things were we approved minutes from before. You might remember it was a really long meeting. We approved a whole bunch of changes to our bylaws, and we approved a new slate of officers and directors and elected those. So we have mailed those. Those minutes are on the website. And do I have a motion from somebody here to approve? Robert's got a motion. Is there a second to approve? Rich? All those, but before I go, were there any additions or corrections to those minutes as mailed and published? All right, all those in favor of approving those minutes? Anybody objecting to the minutes? All right, so the May 19th minutes are approved, and then we had our semi-annual meeting. There was no business conducted other than we gave you a bunch of reports, and we mailed those minutes as well. Those were the reports that we gave. Is there a motion to approve the November minutes? Don Kraft. Second. We got Alex Hart. All in favor of approving the November 10 minutes? Anybody opposed to the minutes? All right, so thank you very much. We have our minutes approved. And now I'm going to turn it over to Robert Grossman. Susan Schnee is the chair of our nominating committee. She is out of town. Robert is one of her committee members, and so he is going to present to you the slate of potential board members and officers.
Good morning, Good morning. Okay, there you go. Good morning, everybody. This was our committee, and everybody who was on the committee, if you're here, please stand up. And just want to say thank you for doing this. It's very much appreciated. It takes some time, but fortunately, we have people who are actually willing to serve this year, which is totally amazing. And moving on. Okay, so. We have, I didn't even bring one up with me. Everybody, those of you who I think most of you already filled out your ballot. Anybody who has a ballot that's left over, you'll see the names that are on there. This is what we go through. The process took a little bit of time because we weren't really sure. The number of directors that are open changed because we have people changing positions. For instance, Rebecca Neff is moving from a member to becoming the secretary, according to what the ballot is. I'm off, yay. It's about time. And I'm sure there's a lot of people glad to see me leave. At the same time, I believe that Danny Schnee is also the one that is leaving. And we have a couple of folks that are absolutely brand new to it that we're very happy. And those of you that are below the age of 60, if you would be willing to look for a position maybe next year, we would love to have it. We're trying to bring more youth into our board of directors so that we can continue to serve even the younger folks and not just us old guys who are walking around here. Anyway, so this is the process that we go through. It's very simple most of the time. And at this point right now, we're at the very last one, supervise and administer the election. This is the board that we, the ones that are up for election are on there right now. It's pretty simple. Brent, you're automatically in. Everybody else, we have a couple of folks, Denny, who's continuing on, Eric, who's continuing on, Karen Shapiro, who's continuing on, and the other ones who have, and Maggie, who agreed to become president elect last year and is going to be our president coming up this coming year, and we're looking forward to it, Maggie, because we love your energy. Jeremy Dowell has agreed to be vice president. You can see the list that's here. Carolyn Geiser, I think, is on her fourth time as the head of the Budget and Finance Committee, and we very much appreciate her. She can't hear this now because she's sitting on an island someplace just having a blast, and I don't blame her. Rebecca, pardon me? I will leave that up because she is the head of the Budget and Finance Committee, so maybe we need to audit that. We'll check that out later. Thank you, Rebecca, for stepping up, and Judy for staying on again. Jeff and Yvonne are new members who have agreed to join. So at this point, I need to collect whatever ballots are still out there. If you have a ballot, please just raise your hand. Okay, I will come and collect them personally. Just hold them up, And do we have somebody to help me count? Do I have a volunteer to sit with me to help count? Oh, okay, Rich, that would be great. I'll have Rich Lieber do it. It's fine. Those of you that have the ballots, please hold them up because Rebecca's got the basket. And I'm going to turn it back over to Brent. Thank you.
If you are one of those highlighted people in yellow who's being elected today, if you want to stand just so we can recognize everybody. So we introduce yourselves. We got Jeff standing here in front, Yvonne Zador. Let's see, we have Judy Oppenheim. Everybody knows she fulfilled her term and she is running for another term. Rebecca, wave your hand if you don't know Rebecca Neff. Carolyn is on the beach, and Jeremy Dowell, are you around here somewhere? There's Jeremy. So thank you everybody for rounding out our election. And so Robert will count those and report back to us. So first of all, thank you very much. It's a great time to be a member of Temple Shalom. Many of you have heard me say that before, and I'm always amazed how Rabbi can give a Devar Torah or a sermon and tie it specifically to what we're doing right now. And the reason I say that is because everybody that has contributed to Temple Shalom's success does it in their own unique way. We don't have to have everybody doing the same job because we have everybody doing what they need to be. So thank you to Rabbi Jay, to Kobe Humash, to Ellie Emmerich Hart, who is our preschool lead teacher, Lizzie Perlin, our office coordinator, Milton Fuig, and our maintenance facilities, and all our teachers and madrachim and assistants. So we have great staff. If you helped us because you were a service leader, or you read Torah or Haftarah, or you were a gabbai, or a greeter, or an usher, or a committee member, or part of our holiday team, or bagel brigade, or oneg team, or event chairs, or a member of one of our auxiliaries, or one of our havarahs, thank you. Again, your unique contributions make a difference to us. Thank you to our chairs for our committees and our events and our organizations. Again, without some leadership throughout, things just don't happen. And so I'd like to acknowledge all of these people that have really helped us in a big way with a lot of achievements this year. So round of applause for your leadership here. And then mostly I'd like to thank the 2024-25 Board of Directors. They're listed here, and acknowledgement, as Robert said, to Robert and to Danny Schnee, who have fulfilled their terms and are retiring from the board. And thank you to all those who have been on the board and are continuing to fulfill your terms or signing back up again. But this board worked hard. They worked very nicely together. It was a great year. And as a result of that, we got an awful lot of things done. So since July 1st, so the election that Robert is facilitating right now, those people they start their job on July 1st. So going back to July 1st, 2024, we got at least 20 big things done as part of the board or the leadership team. So one, if you'll recall last year, if you were here, I talked about the thing being foundations. We did board training, and we had a retreat back in August of 2024 to kind of set the stage and make sure everybody was trained. For the first time, we wrote, approved, and posted to the temple website a code of conduct. So again, we should all know how we treat each other, but if you don't see us doing that, we have published a code of conduct. We also published an HR concern/complaint form, written, approved, also published on your website as a resource. We created a conflict of interest policy. Our bylaws say we're supposed to have one. We wrote it, we approved it, all of your board members have signed it, and that got done. We have a new expense reimbursement policy that got approved during the year. We completed a new sound system and screen project. So the sound has been fantastic. You can hear all the way to the back, so that's been fantastic. We hired Investment Trust as our financial advisor, replacing Merrill Lynch. We got better fees, better service, and we're really happy. This is the same firm that the Temple Shalom Foundation uses to manage funds, and because we're part of the same overall affiliated set of organizations, they gave us even a deeper break on fees, just based on all our contributed balances. We were awarded a $150,000 federal security grant, thanks to Elena Rathman and some other folks. We are working through that on making improvements to our infrastructure and our facilities to make us more secure. We applied for a third federal security grant of $200,000. It's been delayed by FEMA. If you've been listening to what's going on in the news, it's always questionable what's happening, but there's been no answers given yet, so we expect there will be an answer at some point, and we're hopeful that we might be awarded some additional funds to continue to improve our building. We did approve a 3% dues increase across the board. We have not had a dues increase in years, and we've tried, when we have them, we try not to do them every year. We try to really spread them out, but as you'll see in the financial section today, costs have gone up way more than 3%, so we held the line at 3%. We held 3 town hall meetings for a firearms policy, or to get feedback for inputs to one. It was attended by over 50 people. At the end of the agenda today, we're going to walk you through the firearms policy that came out of that set of conversations. We launched the new Institutional Performance Evaluation Committee. That's a mouthful. We are working on, as one of the first acts of that committee, a member survey. So sometime over this summer, expect to be getting a survey, and it's kind of hard for us to figure out where the temple should go and what we need to do without hearing from all of you. And it's been years since we have surveyed our members. So be on the lookout later this summer for a member survey coming to your email box or postal box. We approved and designed a new budget. Kobe did a great job getting everybody together. Very tight budget for the coming year. We approved a policy to have differentiated pricing for members and non-members at all our events. So when we have a movie night or some other event that has a price tag on it, again, it's not the reason to join Temple Shalom, but we think members should have some benefit in differentiated pricing. So as a member of Temple Shalom, you will get that better pricing. We signed an agreement to do an engineering study of our heating and air conditioning systems with a company called Farnsworth, thanks to Carolyn Fox, who's been kind of helping us guide that process, and Kobe. They are trying to figure out what we would need to do to make this building better cooled and heated, and just looking toward the future. We've got some pretty old equipment, so we're waiting to hear from them. We signed a new 3-year IT support contract to make sure all of our technical equipment and computers and infrastructure continues to work well. We created a new investment policy on kind of the rules on how we manage temple funds. We did approve a firearms policy, and you'll see that today. Big one, Temple Shalom Foundation raised over $116,000 in initial commitments for the foundation, and to my great happiness, both the Temple Board and the Temple Shalom Foundation Board have everybody on those, 100% of those members have pledged financial commitments to support those. So we will continue to do some fundraising, and hopefully you will choose to join us all. But those were just 20 of the accomplishments that we got done on an administrative basis this year. Susan Mello. Susan, if you'll raise your hand. Susan is the president of the Temple Shalom Foundation, and she asked me to just give the update for you. So if you're not aware, this is the leadership of our foundation. Susan Mello, Carrie Truckman, Paul Beyer, Betty Ann Barish, Elena Rathman, and Kobe Humash. And we formed this in 2018 as a separate nonprofit organization. So we have the Temple Shalom Foundation, separate organization, dedicated nonprofit, and its entire purpose is to provide steady, long-term financial support for Temple Shalom. That's its goal. It was originally, the initial funds came from the Temple Shalom Legacy Fund. You might remember that from years ago, and since then we have contributed to it. Those funds are professionally managed by an outside investment manager according to the foundation's investment policy. The foundation makes a quarterly payment to Temple Shalom. So every year it gives money to Temple Shalom, and that's, as the foundation builds funds, those amounts continue to grow. And since we formed it, we've received almost $100,000 from the foundation, which is a big deal. The assets of the foundation at the end of April were about $646,000, up about 10% from the prior year of about $587,000, and that's driven by both market fluctuations in asset values and new contributions. And you can expect that the foundation will continue to fundraise this year, and we'll have some events. And here's just a graph kind of annually of the amounts of money that we have received as Temple Shalom from the Temple Shalom Foundation each year. And again, it's approximately 3% of the assets that get distributed each year. Once a year, they do a 12 trailing quarter average, determine that's going to be the average for the coming year. And so we have some predictability about how much money we will be getting for the next year. So we hope and probably expect that the 2025, 2026 number will continue to go up. And this is how part of the answer on how we close our deficit gap that everybody always hears about is these are permanent funds. They just keep coming year after year. We don't have to put on fundraising events or other sorts of events to do that. So before we hear from Kobe, any questions about Temple Shalom Foundation or any of those things? Great, thanks, Paulette. Kobe, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good morning, everybody. I do apologize again for having the old system working, even though it works wonderful. But I really wanted you all to enjoy the new system. But we had a power issues about a week and a half ago, and it really damaged a lot of our equipment. So every time we find something new, so hopefully that will be solved in the next few weeks. So, members, we have 239, actually we have 241 already because we approved 2 extra board members, temple members last month. But these are the new members that joined us in the last year, since July 1st, 2024, 27 families, James Belzik, Ellie Binder, and Grace, Susan and Michael Eisenman, return members, Rachel Evans, Deborah Ann Coven, Eva Hale, Noreen Baron Harish, Karen Ellis, and Katim Haraska, Jamie and Nathaniel Hogg, Andrew, Arvin and Anne Ray, Matthew and Shelley Johnson, Jeff and Katie Kutzman from Next Gen. Here's an example of how people in Next Gen eventually becomes members of the temple. Jeff and Katie Kutzman, I said, James and Michelle Kisam, George and Uliana Krasnopolsky, Philip Kratzman, Jen and Richard Libert, Matthew and Shada Mainzer, Steve and Janet Marshall, I think they're here, Elaine and Mitchell, Martin, James and Shirley, Cheryl, Michal, Jordan Orzak and Ariel Stroud, another couple from Next Gen that is moving and became members of the temple. Dorothy Porter, Juliana Rich, Jacob Schneider, and Karen Serna, Anne Schock, Robert, and Jan Weiner, and Ron Zipper. So give them all, yep. That's a lot of new members. So people ask me, so how come our numbers don't change? Well, you know, we're a military town, people live. Unfortunately, some people passed away, and some people decide to stop their membership. That happens too. Members do, Brent mentioned the increase of about 3%. Of course, we rounded it a little bit. We didn't keep the digits, cents and stuff. So the traditional sustain kavod was $2,100. So now it's $2,170. So really the changes are not significant. You will receive your package at the end of May. If you will have any questions or any concerns or any requests, feel free, comfortable, and give me a call so we can discuss if any issues that you have with your future. If you agree to everything that is in your package, you don't need to return the paperwork back. Okay, we don't need that. If you have any changes, if you need to make some changes, if you need to discuss it with me, then yes, please do. So, volunteering, Brent have mentioned that already. I'm sorry that there will be some overlap things, but Yes, Torah and Haftorah readers, Gabay Rishon, Gabay Sheni, and all the ones that are organizing, especially Robert Futlik and Robert Grossman that are taking care of that on a weekly basis. To our Oneg and Bagel Brigade, and I have to mention the four captains of our Bagel Brigade, Gwen Futlik, Karen Wise, Maggie Riggs, and Roseanne Fahrenbruch. Really, without them, you will not have lunch on Saturday, period. And if you want to continue having lunch on Saturdays, we need your help. They are really in desperate need for more and new blood in their teams, and they need help. So please, if you are able to do that, even if you don't come on a regular time to Shabbat service, you can still volunteer and help and do that. So Maggie's here, so talk to her, and hopefully, and I think Gwen is here too. So talk to them and see if you can make any contribution and help to those teams. All the ushers and greeters all the time, this is really important. Without them, we cannot really, we want to have the security guards doing security, not checking names. So this is why we ask people, most of the time are the board members, but again, there is a lot of work for the board. If you are willing to do that kind of a volunteering time and be a greeter, just call the office and we'll sign you in. We had a second setter, Lisa Sherwood, and Next Gen that helped us a lot. It was a fantastic event. Mitzvah Day, Susan Schnee was our chair, Lexi Strong, Kate Raphael, and 100 volunteers. Guys, we had a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic event. The Boker Tov Sunday Club and their amazing program. Thank you. You are fantastic. You're bringing about 6 to 8 programs a year, and this is really, really additional part of our adult education, and this is really nice to have that, including the breakfast that you provide. Thank you. And the program committee. 3 movie nights, 3 chamber music concerts, fantastic events. If you have missed it, please, you definitely missed it. So join, come. It's a great event, and it's a building community, and there is always good wine and cheese. So thank you all of our volunteers and all our programs that are coming into our temple. Temple Shalom Mitzvah Day, just a little bit of pictures. If you have not seen this beautiful bench that was a collaboration of multi-faith youth groups, you can see our blue and white panels, but it's a combination of multiple. So Temple Betuah has a panel in there and some other churches, and we painted things, and then they mixed all of those panels and created those benches, and one of them is standing outside by Teresa's tree in the front on Monument Street. So these are the things that we have done during Mitzvah Day. Cleanup of the cemetery, Monument Creek cleanup, baking with Lisa Sherwood, /Rabbi. Lisa could not make it, so Rabbi took over. 13 planters with herbs and wine chimes for Habitat for Humanity, helping Ahava farm. That was awesome. First time that we have done that. Painting and shipping container at Columbia Elementary School. Again, helping a little bit, not just to ourselves, but to our community around us. Care and Share, 83 pounds of dry food, over 500 pounds in FY25. And if you have came in and saw the big boxes in the front, this is what the children, these our school kids, have collected through the year. I don't know how much is in there. I will take it next week, and then we will have probably quite a lot. It's pretty heavy. So this is a great project that they are doing through the entire year. 18 decorated grocery bags for Angel Heart. This is the Nevatim, the little kids were done. Interfaith Youth Bench, which you see, and blood drive, which was fantastic. So here are the results of the blood drive. 19 donors signed in, 7 first-time donors, 1 deferral, 18 whole blood donations, 1 double red donations, 20 units collected. Drive goal was 18 units, and that's great. So that means they want to come back next year, and we will do it again. It's, Kate, what's the name? Vitalent. Vitalent is the organization that we worked with. They provide them the blood to the needs, the hospitals, wherever it needed. It is local, yes. It's a non-profit organization. Thank you. So just a few pictures from that wonderful day. Here's a container that they did. The group that went to the cemetery, the group that went to the Monument Creek, the teens that were painting our panels. This is the outcome. Baking in the kitchen. So it was a fun, fun, fun day. Building. What happened in here? Not much this year. New sound system, overhead projector, and drop-down screen. Believe me, it works. If you came to the movies, it works. It will work again. We relocated the Surviving Holocaust store to downstairs, and we created a nice display down there. So it moved from the upper lobby to the social hall downstairs. Clearing and cleaning the attics. Anyone wants a wedding dress? We found one upstairs in the attic. So it's still, we still owe it. We still have it. But if you really want something cool for Purim, you can have it. Nothing is going to go back into the attics. Done. Replace the floors in the lobbies under warranty. So we had to replace both front and back floors that we have done more than less than a year ago. And there were some damages, and they replaced it and did a fantastic job. So hopefully that will stay for a long, long, long time. The offices, there are no damage in there. So they replaced a few panels in there, not the entire area. Yeah, a few panels, correct. That was a fantastic day, really. It was such a fun day. You should definitely come and join us next year. It was a blast to see so many people, and really no politics. It doesn't matter if you're right, left, center, no politics. It's just pure support for the state of Israel. Doesn't matter what's going on. You agree or disagree with the politics. It's really not the topic in there, all right? So please join us in the future. That would be fantastic. There is police everywhere. The 1 mile walk is through the neighborhood, and every single corner there is a police car. It's in a beautiful neighborhood and in a park, and there were no demonstrators, nobody was interfering, and it was very safe and very pleasant. Over 2,000 people were there. No, they don't advertise it on TV because it's not meant to be up in the open for the public, especially for security reasons. Same thing, no TV, no newspaper, is only internal advertising through the synagogues and the Jewish organizations. All right, just to remind you, Temple Shalom is a 501c3 tax-exempt business. Your donations are tax deductible. With your help, we have new sound system, projector and screen, bike rack outside, new floors, lights, and all the small new things that you see around. And in the near future, hoping for a new heating and cooling system. We are working on that right now, and maybe, hopefully, upgrade playground and more with your help and contribution. How do we communicate? You know that. Announcements on Friday and Saturday during services, weekly email, monthly bulletin, and special event invitation. That's the only way for us to communicate with you. If you don't open your emails, if you don't look at it, then you don't know what's going on. And we really try not to send too much. I know that I send for a full week a promotion for the mitzvah day and then a promotion for the walk day of Israel, but usually we don't do that. Here are some important dates coming up. Erev Shabbat in the park. Guys, this is a fantastic things. June 6th, America the Beautiful. July 11th, Monument Valley Park. And August 1st, Garden of the Gods Park. The reason July is on the second week and not the first week, because the first week is 4th of July. Shavuot services on June 1st and 2nd. So if you are interested in that, please do come. And 100 and fiscal year starting on in a month and a half. And 127 days to Rosh Hashanah, guys. Yep, coming up very soon. Quick thing to remind you, security. As decided and approved by the board, we have one guard, all right? Sundays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Board members committed to be the lobby checking registration list. And if you want to help, please let us know, and we will be more than happy to add you to the list and take some of the burden from the board members. Special functions such as today will have 2 guards. And if you wish to be part of our welcome team that I just mentioned that, as recommended by the Finance Committee and approved by the board, security fees for FY26 are staying the same. Did not change, $175 per household. And quick review on some of our committee reports. Program Committee, Chair Beth Bayer, Film Series Chair John Mullins, and Chamber Music Concert Chair Karen Shapiro. Without them, you will not have, yes, will not have those amazing programs. Committee members are Betty Ann Barish, Danny Elston, Ellie Emmerich Hart, Judy Oppenheim, Carol Salzman, Susan Schenk, Susan Schnee, and Trudy Walls. This is what they've done this year. Dessert Oneg, Rosh Hashanah, and helping break the fast at the end of Yom Kippur. Dessert reception for the Little London Winds concert on Hanukkah. Shabbat Across America that happened in March. Film series we had 3 of those. Catskills, Ain't No Back to Merry-Go-Round, and Unbroken, all amazing films, all associated with Jewish themes, and that's the idea, to bring films that are associated with our community, with our life. 3 afternoon chamber music concerts on October, January, that was freezing, and April, wine and cheese reception follow each one, and I have to mention the Ruth Adler Schnee Music Fund continues to support Temple Shalom's outstanding chamber music concert. So please join us and be on that. Just a few quick pictures from the cemetery and some things that have happened at the cemetery. We had 3 burials since November 2024 meeting and 7 total for FY25. Not all of them are always members of Temple Shalom, by the way. 10 spaces plus were sold this year. And check out the temple website or the flyers in the foyer if you are interested to purchase a plot or talk to Rebecca. She is right here. Just a few pictures for Mitzvah Day. Mitzvah Day, we do have also volunteers from Colorado College that I have to mention. We established that our relationship with them about 2 years ago, and now they come at least 3 or 4 times a year to participate and help us maintaining our cemetery. And of course, they participated also at the Mitzvah Day this year. And they do come to services, correct? So we thank our volunteers, especially CC Hilla's students and the Friends of the Cemetery Group, for their ongoing support in maintaining the cemetery and supporting our Jewish community. There is always work, always. So if you are interested to be also friends of the cemetery, please contact Rebecca. And this, since Caroline is not here, Brent is going to take over and explain to you a little bit of the money.
All right, so Carolyn has a wonderful budget and finance committee. Kobe serves on the committee. Thank you to Alan Davidson, Jeremy Dow, Peter Gerfine, who just moved this month to California, has been a staple of the committee, Judy Salkind and Larry Ritterband. And if I missed anybody, my apologies, but this group meets once a month to review our financials and look for opportunities to make us better. One of the things that we did some years ago, we used to have an outside CPA firm come in and do a financial review, and it's really expensive. And so we started thinking about what could we do to eliminate that cost but still have some of the protections. And so one of the things we did was we formed a committee to review our financial practices and procedures, and they typically do it on a quarterly or semi-annual basis, very similar to what an outside CPA firm would do, but they do it independent of the Budget and Finance Committee, and they do it independent of the office. So Elena Rathman, Jeremy Dowell, and Karen Shapiro were the committees that ran this process this year. We just finished the last review in April, and there were no concerns on controls identified, and they did identify an opportunity to take some of cash that was just sitting in either non-interest-bearing accounts or low-interest-bearing accounts and look at some other investment strategies for those. So I know Kobe is working on that right now. If you want to know how are we doing financially, I would probably point you to the big box with the blue box down. We have long-term investments. We have now moved those funds to investment trust, and you can see where those balances were in each of April 23, 24, and 25. So between last year and this April, we're up about 11% on our long-term investments. Our total funds, which include all the bank accounts above, these are our operating and checking accounts, are up about 4% year over year. Our building assets, which are building computers, furnishings, and other improvements to the building, was up about 6%. So total assets overall about 4.85% up. And then our liabilities, payables, payrolls, taxes due, et cetera, our liabilities were down. So assets were up. The amount of money we owed was down, and so our net equity or value is up about 5% year over year. So the office and our budget and finance team are running a great operation. Yeah, great question. So Paul had asked about the Helen Credson Bell Seniors Program. So Bob and Lucia Bell had established this fund years ago in honor of Bob's mom, and that was our seniors program. And we are no longer offering that program due to be able to staff it. And we talked to Bob and Lucia, and they've decided they'd like to reallocate those funds to our religious education, our religious school, and our B'nai Mitzvah program. So we're working with Bob and Lucia right now to figure out where that goes. So anywhere you see Helen Credson Bell or seniors program, those funds will move. Here are the long-term funds that are at investment trusts, so that total balances to the first slide you saw. But we have dedicated funds for operations, for our building fund. The cemetery has a fund, Superstein Education Fund, the Ruth Schnee Music Fund, the Helen Credson Bell Fund, Gen 4, and a development fund. So overall, you can kind of see there's some up that are down. The Gen 4 fund, big down, but again, that's because we're using some of the funds out of those investments for various purposes, and that's what some of those things are there for. From a source of funds, so that's what we have from the money coming in. Here again is the last 2 full years, so FY 23 and 24, June 30, and then the 10 months ended May. These total to 100%, and so you see dues is the biggest category of how we pay for ourselves. Dues typically is a little over 50%. The last couple of years, it's a smaller percentage because we had grants and we had some very big donations and gifts, so that kind of skewed it. But what you see is starting to be a mosaic of we're not just 100% reliant on dues and donations. You see the education fees and tuition slice for this year grew. Thanks to the Rabbi and the Ed Committee, we've brought the number of students back. We've had more adult education programs that's bringing in more tuition. The programs we offer are starting to bring a little more, and then that orange slice, I think it's orange, is the foundation and other investments that are starting to pay off a little more, and then our fundraising efforts. And in some ways, I would kind of combine fundraising and the foundation slices together. But we have diverse sources of income. We're not relying on just one. We continue to look for alternatives like grants, which brings outside dollars. So we're not relying on just member opportunities. Programs brings outside dollars in as well. So sources of fundings. And here is kind of the actual for last year, June 30, 2024, and the 10 months this year. Big surprise, labor is our number one expense. We are very lucky to own our building outright, so we don't have a mortgage for temples and synagogues that have a building. That often the mortgage payments and interest payments become the number one expense, and so it skews heavily. So big surprise, we're at about 63% of our cost is labor. And that right column you see, this is our rabbi and our education director and executive director and the preschool leader and office coordinator and facilities and preschool and Hamerkaz teachers and madrahim and payroll taxes. It's a lot of stuff. But we're spending it. All these people are the people that make the difference on the program. It's the services that we signed up for, so I feel pretty good. And then it kind of drops off the cliff, but interestingly, security is our number two expense. And if you probably rewound the clock about 5 or 6 years ago, it was almost non-existent. I mean, we had some guards for high holidays and so forth, but we didn't feel compelled to have guards, at every service and so forth. So that's become one of our bigger expenses, programs, insurance, utilities, banking, supplies, IT and so forth. So that's kind of how it breaks down. If you ever want to peel the onion and get under the numbers a little more, I know the Budget and Finance Committee would be happy to walk through the numbers. Carolyn would be happy to give you the details. So it's available to all Temple members. So again, there's nothing being hidden, but I feel really good that Kobe does a really good job watching our expenses. Any kind of outside contract, we rebid or we look at those numbers on a regular, ongoing basis to see if we can't improve those opportunities. And then from a actual versus budget, this is for the 10 months. You see right now we are 8% below on income, and that's kind of our year-to-date budget, but we're 21% below on expenses. So net, we're in a good position year-to-date, and I always say that actual versus budget just tells if we're good forecasters and budgeters, budgets, but the real magic is on this, just kind of keeping it tied together nicely. So that is our financial picture, and if anybody would like more details, would be delighted to get those details for you. And with that, Rabbi, are you still there? Rabbi's here. He's going to tell you a little bit about how our education program is doing. So we got Rabbi involved in this last year. And Rabbi, how are we doing?
All righty. But before we begin the education report, just a little update on the world. Just for those of you who I know, like me, pay attention to Eurovision. Are there any Eurovision fans in the room? How many of you have no idea what I'm talking about? Most of you. Eurovision is a song competition of countries in Europe, including Israel, because Israel's in Europe. I don't know. But Israel's won 4 times. Last night, Eurovision happened. Israel came in second place. That's really cool. So there we go. Anyway, now since it's the education, do you all feel educated about Eurovision now? Yeah, the woman who sang, she was actually shot in the leg on October 7th at the Nova Music Festival and played dead in the field so that the terrorists would leave her alone. She laid there for hours bleeding, almost bleeding out, and she was chosen this year to be Israel's representative in the competition and came in second place, despite the fact that in the arena, people threw paint while she was singing, and in Spain, they put an anti-Israel message on the television through the Spanish Broadcast Authority while she was singing. But do you feel educated about Eurovision? We'll talk about education here at Temple Shalom. We'll start with our preschool. Ellie's right over here. Let's give Ellie a round of applause, who runs our preschool program. The program was 3 days a week. It's now 5 days a week. It's been very successful with people coming. And over the summer, starting up in just a couple weeks from now, there's a summer Shabbat program. The Friday Shabbat program is so popular with our preschool families that Ellie decided to, over the summer, run it. We did it last year for the first time, doing it again this year. Every other Friday to come for the preschoolers for Shabbat. It's one of my favorite things of the week. I get to sing Shabbat songs and play with the preschoolers every week, and we share a little challah and blessings and stuff, and it's wonderful. And Ellie and the preschool staff are absolutely amazing, and you saw pictures. They're great. In HaMerkaz, our Center of Jewish Learning, we have over 40 students registered between kindergarten and 12th grade. They're downstairs right now, and in about 4 more minutes, they're going to be playing some games and eating hot dogs and stuff outside. Our registration is steady compared to last year, but our attendance has increased dramatically. By the end of last year, our attendance was incredibly low, and our attendance has grown and great. We have some amazing teachers, Lynn Deutsch, Alexander Epstein, Steph Harley, who sadly left us in December because she wanted to retire from the military, and she didn't even ask our permission. But wonderful. Sophie Rathman, Jessica Yilkelson, and our amazing mitzvah tutor, Ellie Emmerich-Hart. Let's give our teachers a round of applause. Please applaud loudly enough so they can hear you downstairs. We have some great madrachim, some of our high school kids who help with our program as well. Noah Folks, Chloe Dow, Sarah Gatow, and Levi Epstein. We'll give them a round of applause as well. And then we have revitalized our PTO this year. Lexi Strunk is leading our PTO, and they're outside doing games and stuff with our kids right now as a end of the year little celebration. They're actually giving, I hope I get out there in time to see, because they're going to be giving some gifts to our teachers and our madrachim, and our kids are excited about that as well. Over the course of the year, this year, here's some things that we've done this year. We have reinvigorated the spirit in our parents and our kids. More excitement about our school going on. We have developed a new parent handbook that we handed out at the beginning of the year. We've made some changes to that for next year. We've introduced a new spiral holiday curriculum. Spiral means that it goes to different topics, spiraling up per grade. It's actually a 2-year cycle of the holiday program. It's a great program. The kids have loved it. The teachers have loved it. We'll be continuing on with that. We've reintroduced our new Hebrew curriculum called Mitkadem. Mitkadem is a group and also self-paced Hebrew program. We brought it in before, but we weren't using it to its full implementation, and we are now, and our kids are really thriving with this Hebrew program and really improving on their Hebrew skills. We have restarted our grade level Shabbat services. We're going to be expanding those again next year. And we've built on our holiday programs of things that are going on with our Passover Seder and things like that, building more events for our kids to be participating in. We've developed some new communication systems, including email and remind.com. I know we have some parents in the room who get those remind.com reminders of things coming up. That's very helpful. We've organized some new administrative structures for our school, as well as, there we go, pizza. I know pizza doesn't seem very Jewish, but I'm going to give you all a Hebrew lesson right now. I'm now going to I'm going to teach you how to say the word pizza in Hebrew. Are you ready? Pizza. Excellent. Now your turn. Ready? Excellent. We started, and this has helped us improve our Tuesday attendance. When the kids come on Tuesday at 4:30, we serve pizza. I'm looking at a couple parents in the room, and they're all going, that's why my kid's coming on Tuesday, because my kid wants to eat some pizza. And we come together, we eat a little pizza, we socialize, and it's a great component now also, because it's not just eating pizza. The kids of all the grades are hanging out together, socializing a little bit before they go into their classes to study Hebrew. So it's been a great little addition to our program. And with our teen program, yes?
The other advantage is that you don't have to feed the child when they come home. They've already eaten.
So for the parents who don't feed their children at home, the one slice of pizza that they get, these poor children will suffer when they go home because they only got one slice. Actually, most of them eat 2, but it's okay. But it's been a great, the pizza has helped with our attendance. It really has, and we've included that in our pricing for the school. Our teen program, in January, our teenagers went with me, our entire teen program, all 9 of our kids, went with me to Washington, D.C. to the Litakane Social Justice Seminar. We are rebuilding, as part of the teen program, an annual trip that they're going to go on. And so 2 years ago, we went to Los Angeles. This year, it was here. Next year, are any of my teenagers in the room? No, they're not. It's Jewish San Francisco is next year's trip. Some things coming up next year for our school, for HaMerkaz. A new 2-year alternating Tanakh and Judaica curriculum. We have a new holiday curriculum and a new Hebrew curriculum for this year. Next year, we're introducing a new curriculum for Tanakh, for Hebrew Bible, and for Judaica. We are putting together over the summer online recordings and tools so that all the prayers they're studying will be online and they can listen to recordings of them, as well as we are using a program called Trope Trainer that the kids will be able to use to be able to chant their Torah and Haftarah portions. So we'll be using that as an online resource. We are working right now on a B'nai Mitzvah manual. It's about 80-ish% finished right now. So B'nai Mitzvah families will have this manual that will tell them all the things they need to know to be a part of the B'nai Mitzvah program. We are instituting next year a Madrakim training program. Up to now, our Madrakim have just kind of been around, and we asked them to do stuff. But this next year, we're going to have a formal training program for our teens to be part of our teaching unit. We're adding some more teacher development next year. We're actually starting earlier in the summer this next year to work with our teachers. Next year, we're going to be adding in chugim. These are cultural activities. In other words, Jewish cooking, Israeli dancing, school newspaper. Those kind of things are going to be an additional component in our program next year. I'm working on this one. I'm not promising it's going to happen, but I'm promising it's going to happen. We're going to have a Congregational Family Retreat weekend at camp next year. It's open not only to people in our Hamer Kaz school program, it's open to everybody who's a member of Temple Shalom to go to camp for the weekend. If you went to camp as a kid, you know why that's great. If you didn't go to camp as a kid, I'm telling you, it's great. And you'll want to come. It's going to be a wonderful weekend away at camp. That's going to be later on in the year. And my big dream project we're working on putting together, we're going to do, as long as the money comes in, we're going to change a couple of the classroom things downstairs to build some new learning spaces for our kids. More details on that once the funding is completed. But we have a space downstairs that is our education office and a resource room, and it's a lot of wasted space that we're not utilizing it, and we're going to turn it into a learning space for our kids to use. So, and we'll be hiring next year a new director of youth education. The current director of youth education only wants to stay until June 30th, and he said he's leaving after June 30th to go back to his regular job of being the rabbi of Temple Shalom. And so I've stepped in for this is the end of year one. I've stepped in for a 2-year program to rebuild our program. And the idea is that once the program is rebuilt, we're going to bring in somebody. The education committee has been working on a job listing. It's going to go online probably October, November, December when a lot of Jewish jobs get listed. And we will be looking for a full-time director of youth education to take the job and grow the school beyond what we're doing over these 2 years. Very excited about finding someone if you know people who are interested. Additionally, if you know people who are interested in teaching, we have some teachers who are leaving us because they're leaving Colorado. And so we have a couple of teacher openings. So if you are interested, or if you know people who are interested, you know people who are not yet interested, but you know they're amazing and I should talk to them, please come talk to me about that, because we'd love to expand that into our world there. Lexi is not in the room right now because she's out there with the PTO and our kids. You can, if we listen carefully, I think, can you hear them? I don't know. They're out there with all the games that are out there, I can see. But Lexi Strunk is the chair of our education committee. She's done a wonderful job with our education committee this year. Among the things that happen, as I was just saying, we are going to be, the hope is to hire someone in the springtime so that I can work with them for a few months to orient them to what we've been doing and what we want to be doing here at Temple Shalom with our education program. And so the goal is to have that person in place, and they will start full-time in the summer of 2026. Additionally, the committee's been discussing with me the B'nai Mitzvah policy in the handbook. We had a breakfast back in January that we met with several families to talk about some of the ideas. We put some things, it's going to be posted on the website, ongoing conversations about Shabbat involvement, and we're going to be meeting with the 5th and 6th graders soon to set the next set of B'nai Mitzvah dates. As I said, we're hiring a couple of teachers, and we're going to be having a discussion over the summer of kind of the timing of our Tuesday program. Some of the families have expressed to us that the 4:30 time is difficult, so we may move it by 15 minutes or a half hour later. We'll see. We're going to talk with families. That's not a thing set in stone. We're going to talk to the families and see what kind of works out best for the families that are there. Additionally, we'll talk a little bit about adult education. We have a lot of adult education here. I do some of it. Kobe does some of it. Bob Footlick has done a little bit with Torah reading and things, but a lot of great things going on. I'm just going to put them up on the screen for you to take a look at. Isn't that great that we've done this much adult education this year? Yeah, don't applaud. Wait, don't applaud yet, because there's actually more. we're going to keep on going here because these are all things that have happened. Oops, I'm going to go back right there. That's our list of what's happened for adults to learn at Temple Shalom. Now you can applaud because this is... Next year, we'll have even more opportunities. If you have not taken advantage of one of our adult education programs, I highly encourage you to do so. We've had some wonderful, wonderful programs. Some of these are one night only. Some of them are 10-week sessions. Great stuff to be learning with us. Let me go back. There we go. This is some pictures of things that have been going on with our PTO, helping our kids. This is they were at Ahava Farms and art projects and things in our school. And these are some of the things that the PTO has done for us. I'm not going to read the whole list. I'm just going to let you take a look at it. If you see your kids on the screen, that's great because they were here. Jeff, that's a lovely apron that you're wearing. I like that. It's very. You look good in yellow. His mom made it? Your sister-in-law made it. But all of these things are things that our PTO has helped with our kids. It's amazing. If you would give our PTO a round of applause because I'm here, Kobe's here, our teachers are here, but without the help of the parents helping us with all of these things, the program really doesn't function. And so we're grateful for them being a part of that. And by the way, this is at the Purim Carnival, this is at our Pesach Seder, and this is our parent Latka contest that happened during Hanukkah that was there. Okay, Ronit Patron would like for me to announce, it's very important to her, Ronit Patron was the winner of the parent Latka contest. She just asked for me to announce that. All of the rest of the people who participated, Ronit, I'm going to make you feel bad now, okay? Ready? I'm going to make you feel badly. I should use the adverb. Make you feel badly. Ronit would like you to know that Ronit won the contest and all the other participants were the losers of the contest. So Ronit, I hope you feel good about yourself because of that now. All right. We're going to continue with the results of our election.
Thank you, Rabbi. I hope everybody feels good. What you're seeing is the results of a well-run organization. I think our rabbi and our executive director, our professional leaders are really doing a good job, and all of you volunteers are really making this happen. Robert Grossman informs me with the help of Rich Lieber and with Don Kraft that they have counted the ballots and the slate has been approved. So this will be your board of directors for 2025-26. Congratulations to everyone. The last thing we have on here before we open it up to questions is you've heard back starting in January we had these town hall meetings about a firearms policy. We haven't had a policy at Temple Shalom in a long time, so we had a committee. The board asked the HR committee because it impacted people to get involved. Howard Bartner, Karen Maher, Carrie Schillinger, Kobe, Rabbi Jay, and myself are part of the HR committee. We had over 50 people that got together in these town halls. We also heard from Pikes Peak Security. This is the guard company that supports us and worked, and we had quite a bit of input from our board of directors. And the reason why we decided to have a policy was for the safety and security of our members, our staff, and our guests. That's the bottom line. And without the policy, you can open carry. You can bring your shotgun and rifle here to Temple Shalom. And by the way, you don't need a permit or any training to open carry in Colorado. You can also concealed carry here at Temple Shalom, but there's no standards beyond the fact that you'll go take a couple hours of training and you have your permit. There are no standards. And we said, we could do better. So we had the town halls. We had multiple meetings of the HR committee. The board of directors met multiple times. And at the April board meeting, the board approved like the 5th or the 6th draft of that policy. And this policy will become effective July 1. So one of the things that we learned as we talked to other organizations, including Temple Beit Torah, is it's great to have a policy, but if you don't inform your members on what's in that policy, all you're doing is asking for it. So we wanted to have enough time that we would be able to communicate starting today what this policy is, and we're implementing a communication plan that includes posting of signs in our lobbies and posting of the policy on the website. It's there right now, so you can find it, and it will also be posting it other temple materials. But what I'd like to do is just tell you what's in this policy. The policy is approved. It will go into effect July 1st, and if you have feedback or commentary, the board and I would like to continue to hear from you. And like all policies, they can evolve over time if they're not serving us well. But we think this is a good starting place. So again, with the goal of maintaining a safe and secure environment for our members, our staff, and our guests, the first is we will not have open carry at Temple Shalom in the building or grounds other than our hired uniformed security or law enforcement officers in the duty. So that closes a big hole. So we go from having open carry to no open carry. In order to conceal carry, so we have not eliminated it, but in order to conceal carry, three things have to be true. Number one is you must be a temple member, so non-members may not conceal carry at Temple Shalom. Number one, you have to be a temple member. Number two, you need to be following the current federal, state, and local laws regarding firearms, which means if you choose to bring a weapon into the building, you need to make sure you know what the rules are and that you're compliant with them. And that includes holding a current concealed carry permit recognized by the state of Colorado. And the third one is we have some additional requirements that Temple Shalom is imposing to conceal carry. So the first is at these individuals' own cost, we want everybody to pass an initial certification, and this is both written in live fire and recertify every 6 months on live fire. And this written in live fire certification will be administered by Pikes Peak Security, our hired security company. So number one, we get a standard. 6 months might sound like a lot of frequency, but I know Pikes Peak, which you do it every month or every couple of months, so every 3 months they do ours, we're doing it every 6. But if you don't fire your weapon periodically, you're rusty. And so we want to make sure that happens. Number two, everybody that has a concealed carry permit and brings a weapon is to follow the instructions of our hired security company, any temple staff member, or to any temple board member, including a request to go secure your firearm in a vehicle or remove it from the premises. It's just like if you've ever been on a plane, the FAA says you will listen to, the flight attendants, the pilot, and anybody, and you'll follow the rules. If we see something that's not happening comfortably, that's the rules. It's kind of like for today, please lock it in your car, come back tomorrow, get another chance. But we're going to ask everybody to follow the rules there. Third is we want to be utilizing on-body concealed carry. We are not going to allow for off-body concealed carry. And what that is no firearms stored in a purse, a backpack, a briefcase, a fanny pack, a talit bag. So you have it in a holster on you, on your calf, in your back. There's about 6 or 7 different ways that you can have a gun holstered. Part of this is because we have little kids that crawl around. We want to eliminate the possibility of you being separated from your weapon because your bag, your talit bag, or your purse, or whatever you had stayed here while you went to the back of the room or you walked into that. So that will become important for you. Number 4, firearms will not be allowed on the bima. So the question comes, well, what if I have an honor? What if I have an aliyah? What if I'm doing something? If you know in advance, great. Just lock it in your car or leave it there that morning. If you're one of the people that get asked last minute, can you do it? You can say, I'm going to pass. You can go lock it in the car. But anybody that's got a gun becomes a target. If there's something that happens and you pull your weapon, we don't want our rabbi, we don't want our Torahs, we don't want our children that might be on the bima, we don't want them being targets. So, and it's just spiritually, that's not what we want the people on the bima to be worried about. And then we're going to ask that anybody that continues to conceal carry assume the liability for their own actions, and that they have their own insurance. So the temple has insurance that protects the temple, but we think anybody that chooses to conceal carry should have their own liability insurance. Your privileges can be suspended or revoked by the board. So again, it is not a right. We're a private institution. We have the right to say no guns, period. But we listened, and there was a huge divergence in opinions from absolutely we need to have guns to we don't want to have any. And so we felt like this was a good compromise. eliminating open carry, putting some standards around concealed carry, and again, failure to comply with the policy. We have it in our bylaws that we can have a hearing. And again, this is not meant to be, threatening or anything like that, but at the end of the day, it's about the safety and security of our members, our guests, and our staff, and it's the reason why we spend a lot of money to hire a security company in the first place. And if you believe that's inadequate, by all means, go through the process. One of the things I'll note is that first bullet under passing this initial certification and recertify, that one will not kick in, here I'm putting it down, until September 15th, because we want to give people a chance to get that done, right? And that is, I think, a week before Rosh Hashanah, so hopefully by Rosh Hashanah, when we're busy, it's done. But again, this policy will become effective July 1, so no changes until July 1, and the requirement to get certified by Pikes Peak Security, that requirement itself will not become effective until July 15th. But that's, September 15th. Thank you, Susan. But that is, that's what we came up with. And again, we think it's a good starting place. We've talked about it for years, and we'll look forward to feedback from the members. Yeah, Rich.
It's a great policy, but how are we going to enforce it? It's really voluntary compliance for people to identify that they have a weapon.
Yeah, so the question was, how do we enforce it? So if you conceal carry properly, we will never know. That's the first compliance issue, right? So the minute you see somebody's weapon, it's no longer concealed. And again, generally, part of our rollout and communication plan is training for our staff and our board and our other members. But we'll ask, Pikes Peak Security to say, hey, Rich has got his guns hanging out of his jacket. Would you mind asking him to lock it in the car? And next time you'll remember, those things. But generally, it's like all policies we have. They're voluntary, but it's important, and that's why we put the notes in there that says, you're going to follow the rules and you can have a hearing. But we tried to not create too much administration for the office. Pikes Peak Security, because they are doing the testing and the certification, will know who is carrying, and they'll be able to look at those people as assets or look at them as somebody to take care of. Any other questions? Yeah, Alex. We will have costs. I think we got some preliminary costs from Pikes Peak Security, but when we start, we'll send it out in a column in the newsletter, the process to get through and what those costs will be. We don't have those buttoned down yet, but great question. Yes, Yvonne. Yeah, so the question was about the liability insurance. We're going to leave that to each of you as members. We want you to have insurance, the limit of the insurance that you choose to carry, and what insurance carrier and what type of insurance, again, as long as it's carrying you for your accidents or wrongful acts, we'll leave that to you. Yeah, there's no way Temple Shalom would be able to afford insurance for that. Renee.
You just said it was a good starting point, so I'm just wondering what the process is for tweaking the policy. And I'm not against one of them, but I'm looking at two things tonight.
Yeah.
Disagree with firearms FEMA, so I'm just wondering what the process is for further tweaking.
Yeah, so if you didn't hear, the question was, what's the process for tweaking this policy? And I would say it's the same for any policy, whether it's the firearm policy or a expense reimbursement policy, et cetera, which is come talk to the board of directors, talk to the president, come and say, I want to address the board, write a letter, write a note, and if there is interest in saying this doesn't work, it'll be something that the board would take up and decide to either refer it to a committee or do whatever. Yeah, Jeff.
What happens if we lose Pikes Peak Security due to lack of grants or something?
The question is, what happens if we lose Pikes Peak Security? They're a vendor to us. They've been fantastic to work with, but we can always hire a different security company. The question is, if we lose them because we can't afford it, then we have to relook at the policy and so forth, or we have to hire somebody that would run the certifications that we would trust to run those for us. But right now we have put money towards, and some of the security grants that we've been working on have dollars that can help support our guard system as well. So I think we're probably good for some years to come. So anyway, that is the policy, and again, would love to continue to hear from you on this. I know Maggie Riggs will love to hear from you on it when she starts her term in July as president. And at this point, we're to good and welfare, which is just open mic. I'm happy to hand the mic off to anybody that wants to have an announcement or ask a question. I'll start with Rich, and we'll move to Don.
First of all, I'd like to thank all of our volunteer officers and board of directors. They've done a great job. Thank you, Brent. Thank you for your service again as president. And also, I'd like to call a shout out to the committee members, the volunteer committee members, because I know my Building and Grounds committee, I'm the chair of Building and Grounds. We do a lot of work over the years to keep this beautiful facility in the shape it is. I think it looks great for as old as it is. I'd like my Building and Grounds committee members who are here to please stand up. Thank you. Any other committee members who are volunteers, please stand up. All of our volunteers for all the different committees. So folks, it takes a lot of volunteers. So please join one of the committees you're interested in and help us all out, because many hands makes light work. Okay, in addition to that volunteer job, I'm also the Western Region Chair for the National Jewish Committee on Scouting. So I support 13 Western states, including Alaska and Hawaii, and about 45 Scouting America councils across those areas. So in the back, if you have any kids from kindergarten up through age 20, or grandchildren or anything else, who might be interested in Scouting America, what is Scouting America? It used to be called the Boy Scouts of America. It's one of the premier volunteer or youth programs in the country, 115 years old, to develop character-based and values-based leadership. It's great for citizenship development. I mean, we all want our kids to be great citizens, right? Have a sense of ethics, have a sense of Jewish ethics. Well, the National Jewish Committee on Scouting supports Scouting America. And there's a table in the back with information on Scouting America, all the different age groups. Please feel free to take a look there, pick up information. If you have questions, please talk to me. The rabbi and I are both Eagle Scouts. Brent, you're an Eagle Scout too. We have a number of Eagle Scouts here in our community. The board several years ago approved us having what's called a venturing crew. That's for post-B'nai Mitzvah kids, age 14 through 20, to keep them engaged with the synagogue and with each other. So we've been trying to start that venturing crew for high adventure activities for a couple of years now. Unfortunately, the pandemic interrupted that, and so we kind of stopped all our efforts. But if you have any kids that just got bar bat mitzvah that are in 14 to 20, we'd love to have them get started, and they run the organization themselves. They decide what they want to do, from whether it's camping or ice climbing or rock climbing or going to the movies or going bowling together. Whatever they want to do is great. We do have adults there as mentors to keep them from doing things they shouldn't do, but it is a great program, and we'd love to have that as part of our youth program here. So any questions at all for me, I'll be in the back while you're eating. Please stop by the table. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Don, you had one?
I second the motion to praise the board for all the good work they've done, and the new board is going to be obviously fantastic. But I want to especially thank Brent Mello for stepping up and being our president for the year under the new rules. And one minor thing, save the date, October 26th, which is the Jewish Federation North America, our chapter. We'll have our fundraising brunch at the Cheyenne Mountain Resort. Y'all come.
Great, thanks, Don. Paulette?
Y'all make me look like like a schlepper. And Rich is very nice. I shared a table with him about the Greenberg Center for Learning and Tolerance. On our board is Father John Pelikowski, original board of the Holocaust Museum, and worked with Elie Wiesel and Michael Berenbaum to make that happen. And he's been an advisor to us for 20 years, and on our board, I think for about 10 years, as I remember. He educated the new Pope in Chicago. So I have the articles that were sent to me, and Bishop Hanafin wrote me a note, and he said the Pope wants conversation like the Greenberg Center fosters, which is very nice for Bishop Hanafin to send that to me. And the Greenberg Center, again, we were started here at Temple Shalom with the Humanitarian Award, which was interesting. I gave something to hospice about a program that they had done, and there's a picture of us and Beth Byers in the program because she was at hospice, and I put it on the table there, and then there's an article about the Humanitarian Award at Temple Shalom given to Marcy Morrison. So if you have a chance, I'll be back there. You need to take a look at it because it's nice to have that kind of promotion.
Anyone else? Yes. I'm going to bring you a mic. Excuse me, Carrie.
Very well done, Brent. I was a very vocal participant in last year's raucous gathering, and we're doing you much, much better. I really like the fact that you carried through the whole program rather than the individual officers giving the reports. But again, well done.
Thank you. Yes, we can open the bylaws for amendments now. Now, if anybody wants to do that. Other questions or comments? Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor of adjourning? Oh, Kobe, you have something? You're raising your hands to adjourn. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Please join us for our falafel picnic.
As we make our way to lunch, just a quick blessing for all of us before we eat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'tei avon, everyone, enjoy your lunch. Thank you.